exciting weekend of sport. So a very interesting weekend of URC action. We saw 2 wins for South African sides, 2 losses for South African sides. A big weekend of Premier League football as well. The title race heating up. Nil-nil draw again between Arsenal and City. Liverpool coming away with a win. So things are getting a little bit interesting there. And the IPL is into full swing as well. So plenty to talk about over the next sort of hour. But before we get into that, Dan, are you well?
Superb, Stevie, superb. As you can see, Reds top of the league. I'm absolutely buzzing. I've never enjoyed a 0-0 draw more than I did on Sunday.
And it was a terrible 0-0 draw. We'll talk about that later.
It was a terrible 0-0 draw, but I loved every bit of it. And Stormers clinching. I mean, thank goodness I wasn't watching, so I didn't have to go through the grueling 75 minutes of pain, but managing to get out a win. So, man's buzzing.
Yeah, decent weekend for you. Quite the opposite for me. So, I need to do a bit of a better sporting weekend upcoming. But at least something which I can always make me smile is the predictions that we've got between us. So, for those of you who don't know, myself and Dan make 3 predictions every single week, and we've got a running tally. Steve currently sitting with a classic bomb squad bench 6-2 lead at the moment.
6-2 split. I'd say I wish you could make it 7-1, but unfortunately they're not negative points.
Yeah, so probably a good thing for you. Yeah,
it might warrant at this point. But
right, so Dan takes the predictions.
Okay. Well, Stevie, match 1 was actually Man City versus Arsenal, and it's a bit contentious. And I've forgotten kind of exactly what we said last time, but the match ended 0-0, as we previously alluded to. My prediction was 3-1. Yours was 2-0. So both 2-goal advantage. I think, are we calling that evens?
Yeah, I think you have to call that a draw.
Yeah. Then we're going to go Leinster versus Bulls. I mean, we've actually both had howlers, but I've had more of a howler.
Yeah.
I've gone Bulls by the end result was Leinster blowout win 47-14 versus the Bulls. We held their own in the first half, but kind of got blown away by the Irish Giants. Essentially, my prediction was Bulls by 3. Yours was Leinster by 7. So while this does tend to happen on this show, is both of us way off, but one the lesser of the wrong. So Stevie, congratulations. There is your point there.
There we go.
And then, unfortunately, that goes into an unassailable lead. But I did draw it level on the Sharks versus Edinburgh, where the result was Sharks 23, Edinburgh 13. So Sharks won by 10. My prediction was Sharks by 7. Your Sharks by 5. So I've edged it a little closer. I've stopped the momentum. Most importantly, I think that would have been 3 on the bounce.
It would have been the bounce, yeah.
From. So for me, it's a small one, Stevie. It's a small one. We keep it at the 6-2 split, and I'll slowly start regaining now. I think a little bit of confidence is coming back into me. The sun's coming out here in the UK.
Is it?
You know, this is
changing. Turning of the tides.
Yeah, turning of the tides. You descending there into winter. I'm coming out. I think I've just managed to hit that. You know, Easter weekend. Managed just to pump the brakes on. So it remains 6-2. And let's start off with the rugby, Stevie. A hell of a weekend. And as you said, 2 home wins, 2 away losses for the South African teams.
Yeah, let's just see some of the results here. So, as mentioned there, Leinster, 47 points to 14, hammering the Bulls. In a brilliant second half performance there. Dragons beating Zebre 20 points to 13. Benefit 18 points to 14 win against Connacht. Important for them because they've kind of slipped off a little bit. Sharks getting a second win on the bounce.
By the way, absolutely huge.
A big dramatic win there from that side. Sharks continue the momentum, 23 points to 13 win against Edinburgh. Ospreys beat the Lions 36 points to 21. Stormers a late 13 points to 7 with victory. Scarlets big blowout win there for Glasgow Warriors, winning 45 points to 3, and then Munster edging Cardiff 20 points to 15. The final game of the weekend. Let's start at the very beginning. The Bulls on Friday night, first half, very much in the game, pushing Leinster well and keeping them on their toes. And in the second half, well, you know, a bit of a bomb squad coming on from Leinster. I think they made 5 subs at 46 minutes and completely blew Bulls away.
Yeah.
It was.
I saw Jake White's comments afterwards, kind of essentially saying respectfully to my team, but like kind of what would they expect? Not what were they expecting, but look who came on, like Jamie Gibson Park, Jack Cohen,
Long,
Jalen Doris, Dan Sheehan. It's a bit of a joke. These are guys who have beaten the All Blacks in an away, test series and stuff like that. Like the pedigree that they have is ridiculous. So, I think fair play to the Bulls for sticking around for that long. But I think a massive point of the game was that red card. Stevie Currie obviously going over the whitewash, massive cover tackle from Leicester man. I mean, essentially head contact. Comes flying across, and just a yellow card. I feel like everyone has unanimously said that it should have been a red. Are you in that park as well?
Yeah, clear as day red. There was, for me, no mitigation. Luke McGrath comes in, his arms are nowhere. There's direct head contact. Massive L's being taken by some of the commentators who suggest that if Kurt Lawrence had just gone in for a dive, then it wouldn't have been an issue. You're sitting there going, so he needs to run away from a defense to avoid being smashed in the head, and it's his fault.
Yeah, that's not how this works.
Yeah, I mean, some people even try to suggest that he should get a yellow for the English with his elbow, and you go back and you look at the context, and you think, no, there was absolutely nothing there. So,
I mean, the first thing Currie Arnson did was actually check that he was okay. That the other player was okay. Like, don't come here with that Currie Arnson is malicious, because he's the least malicious rugby player on the circuit. But
correct.
That could have changed the game significantly, because at that stage, I think Bulls were leading 14 points to 12.
Yeah.
So a red card there would have made the game very interesting.
Small point as well. There were 40 points to 12, but I think it was 13 point, whatever it was. But it would have actually been a penalty try, and Jan Hussen actually missed the conversion. True. So had it been a red card, penalty try, extra 2 points, a man up as well. You look at the final score, 47 points to 14, and you think that it wouldn't have made a difference. But at that stage of the game, whether they would have won, who knows? But it would have been closer. They definitely would have been closer. Could they have come away with a losing bonus point, for example? Those sort of small margins. So yeah, I think it was a very significant moment. Makes it very frustrating that although it is funny how so many South African fans who've been calling for, how easily red cards are dished out and they hate like the 20-minute red card and stuff like that. But as soon as that something like this happens, everyone's out ready for the Reds. But it was a red card, and it's been very frustrating looking at like Super Rugby, for example, and how badly they just don't take head contact seriously. And this was one of those grossly poorly managed incidents, which third lines should have gone off for an HIA. It should have been a red card. And it'd be we've got to start finding more consistency with this kind of these kind of clashes, because it's just getting ridiculous now.
Yeah, no, agreed. Stevie, let's get the second South African loss out the way, just so you can enjoy the rest of this podcast. Ospreys 36 points to the Lions 21. I bet you did not see this coming after a strong showing at Connacht. What's happened to the Lions? You thought they were in that top 8 race, and now they've just taken themselves down to 11th.
Yeah, look, I mean, and this is the part. I mean, we'll look at the table, and it's so incredibly close that one win, one loss, for example, can move you from a 6th to an 11th like that. Literally, they'd be 3 points between 6th and 11th. Yeah. The Lions didn't really pitch up, to be honest. After a couple of tough decisions their way, especially that there was a try that they weren't awarded, which we did score about 2-3 minutes later. Which for me was also clear ground and stuff like that. But just couldn't really build momentum. Bit of a fight back towards the end, but I think we started so poorly that we were always kind of sort of chasing the game. And I think that we definitely missed Asnat and Klavikanya. Didn't quite have that sort of scrum set of set piece to move to sort of build dominance.
It's a 3-game ban for him, for his red card.
3-game ban. Two if you he does tackle school. Again, and I mean, you look at that tackle school.
Not to attend tackle school, by the way.
Yeah, no, imagine that. In fact, I'd rather just take a week off. Thanks, boys.
Like, I love that. It's just like they give them the option. Yeah, like someone's going to be like, "No, I'm fine. I'm good. I know how to tackle."
Yeah, I know how to tackle those shirts, boys. But yeah, I mean, I look at his yellow card. Red card, and yeah, my name to the Lord is. But I mean, he came up off the line and he's on his knees is upright the tackle, but he's actually on his knees making the tackle. You look at like Luke McGraw, who's standing straight up, like flying in, no arms, no shit, nothing. Like, and he'll play this week. He can play this weekend.
Yeah, Slabakani is all difficult because it in real time, just that hit was huge. But it's kind of because the guys had it on the ground. As he's tapped it, his head isn't up to see what's coming, to almost anticipate it. And he just flies in. I mean, I still think it's a red, to be honest. Slabakani is. But you can understand why he can feel kind of hard done in a certain way, because he has tried to get down. It's just this guy's just tapped the ball and picking it up off the ground. But flying into the guy's head. I don't know. For me, it's still red, but you can see why it is.
Yeah, I think he gets unlucky because I think if the play's tackling is upright, is more upright the tackle, then he hammers him in sort of the chest downwards, and it's one of those like trademark tackles. But the player is quite low to the ground, which is where the head contact is. Which is why I said, into the law, head contact, red card, which is fine if they're a week later, Luke McGraw, who's upright in the tackle, hammers her down and in the head, red card. But the inconsistencies that the fans hate.
It's like that's a 5. It was like a 10 meter, space in between, and it was like fast. He shot up versus McGraw running cross field for like 50 meters
and had every chance to get low.
And then, every single chance to anticipate like how to. Obviously, he's going at full tilt, so it's hard to get out the way at the last moment. But still getting your body in a position to be able to make a tackle. At a legal height is
that was an awful tackle.
What's important?
Absolutely, Chambar tackle.
Stevie, so I mean, happy days for me. I was following on my phone, just seeing like I saw 7-0. I was like, oh, cool. Must be 20 minutes into the game, or 7-3. I was like 70 minutes into the game. I started sweating buckets a little bit, but a good showing in the end.
Smash and grab, to be perfect. I think.
By good showing, I mean a good result.
Good result. Yeah.
Like having rewatched the game, it just didn't look like it was flowing. I mean, you get so used to the Stormers just kind of scoring tries for fun and often conceding quite a few. So a non-typical low-scoring game in Stephen Kitsoff's return. My favorite moment of the match was when it was Kitsoff versus Frans van Haber. Frans van Haber getting the better of him, and I think that's probably must be their first ever competitive scrum against one another.
Yeah, and the only one as well.
Yeah, and just two giants. I mean, Frans van Haber being back in itself is just exciting. But just two giants, and now some rumors about Kitsoff coming back to the Stormers. All kind of happening in that world, but glad the Stormers got it done, because I think had we not, we would have been sucked into that chaos that is the log between kind of 6th and 8th place. We aren't out and just ahead completely, but it does put us in a good position in 5th as it currently stands. And then
one thing I will say about the game, though, as I think as a Stormers fan, I don't think I'll be madly confident again of silverware this season. I think that game at home, for example, against a struggling Ulster, first half completely outplayed. Ulster so inaccurate with finishing off their chances, had all the dominance, all the opportunities, and I think had they managed to score once or twice more in the first half, I don't think I would have seen the Stormers coming back. So a big result, but I think even John Dobson say that things are just not kicking into gear. So we'll talk a little bit about the fixtures this weekend, but I think the Stormers are not quite in the space where they want to be.
It's a team that makes a lot of mistakes. They have moments of that the clinical team of 2-3 or last year before, but just I think too many errors, just that the kind of unforced errors, and I don't know if there's just not enough discipline either in and around. I still get frustrated with Evan Roos. I think he needs to really kind of tighten up around the fringes in terms of the way that he is going about imposing himself in games and kind of being that dominant person, because now's the time of the season if he wants to be in contention for any match day 23. So the rest of for the box season, now is the time of the season that you kind of show you can do that, and no better opportunity than this weekend. But let's quickly touch on the the Sharks back-to-back wins for the first time since December 2022 in the URC, getting the win over Edinburgh, 23 points to 13. And Stevie, I'm calling Sia Masuku. The one, nothing else has really changed. They've obviously bolstered their forward pack a little bit, but Sia Masuku, big running fly half, taking the, kind of holding up a defense, I feel like, a little bit. We changed that from like a Butter Chamberlain, Cohen Bosch. As a defense, you're not worried about that person running at you or breaking your lines. They're counterattackers, they're good kicking, but a good win for Sharks, and momentum that they feel they'll be able to take into not only the Challenge Cup, but possibly even next season of the URC. It's kind of just how they just need to finish the season at this point.
Yeah, look, I mean, they're all in the Challenge Cup, so I think the URC needs to be where, again, as you mentioned, where they find that momentum, where they find that confidence. I mean, they're so far out of that top 8 race, so top 8 is not on the cards for them, but they need to prove that the Sharks project is going somewhere. So, if they can try and finish strong, maybe try to reel in at Cardiff, finish at 12th at a push. Then, Champions Challenge Cup at the end of the day. That's their only potential avenue for Champions Cup. Yeah. So look, I think they have turned a bit of a corner. I still think they're far from the finished product. But Zakot coming back has definitely made a big difference. They've got a world class front row, which will win penalties against most teams in the world.
Yeah,
I do think that's so strong. No, it's just silly. And the depth that they got as well. In that front row. So they've got 2 proper front rows. They're now being able to field, the pack that they want to. And then you got to see Masuka behind the pack who can make players prepare the space and create opportunities. And we've been calling for it all season. So I don't know. It's just weird how it's taken so long to make the change. But they have made the change, which is the main thing. And it's probably a good time going into this weekend. The EPCR does return, and 2 South African teams in the playoffs. It is the last 16 in both competitions, by the way. So after this, we'll move into quarterfinals, which will be next weekend as well. So very quick turnaround time. Let's look at some of the fixtures here. So in the Champions Cup, it is Harlequins versus Glasgow Warriors, Bulls versus Lyon, Exeter versus Bath, Stormers at home versus La Rochelle, Bordeaux versus Saracens, Leinster versus Leicester, Northampton versus Munster, Toulouse versus Racing, which should be a great game on Sunday there. For the Challenge Cup, it is Gloucester versus Castres, Clermont versus Cheetahs, Brighton versus Lions, Edinburgh versus Bayonne, Ospreys versus Sale, Montpellier versus Ulster, Charles versus Zebre, and Hull versus Connacht. So, Dan, some very, very cool games there. Before we look at them, an interesting post. If you ever want to sort of look at how many South Africans are playing overseas, one of the publications yesterday did all the fixtures, and basically every single fixture bar, I think it was Racing versus Toulouse, they could use a South African player as a ref.
Well, and that's only because Sia Khaleesi's just had an operation, right?
No, well, they got Trevor, so so it was Toulouse that didn't have a player for.
Okay,
which I'm pretty sure they do actually. If I look at that squad, but they just decided to go with Anton Dupont.
True, but it's crazy the width and the kind of spread that South Africans go to. We've spoken about it before. You do find it's very scarce that all of this talent doesn't actually come back. Most of you kind of have to make your name within South Africa, and if you want to get into kind of the green and gold jersey before going out wide, but there's still just so much South African talent out there. But Stevie, this weekend, I think for me the ones I'm most excited for, obviously Stormers La Rochelle. I know we've spoken about this, but so frustrated with how these fixtures have kind of come out. I just think it's frustrating that we're seeing repeat, mostly because I feel like beating La Rochelle once is big enough. And Stormers had to wait till the last kick of the game with the Mani Liebok one from the corner to get it done. And now we need to just try and build ourselves up to do that all again. And then I think the next two ones, I think Northampton, Munster, that's an iconic game. Two teams doing well in their respective kind of domestic leagues, or the URC and the Premiership. I think that's going to be absolutely massive. And then Harlequins, Glasgow Warriors as well. Harlequins seem to be a team that are kind of stepping up one game and then getting blown out the water the next. So you don't really know which one's coming up, and they're going to be up against the Glasgow Warriors, which I don't think very many people would have said would have been second in the URC come this part of the season, at the beginning of the season. So a really, really strong and dominant Glasgow Warriors, who had a massive win over the weekend, and versus a Harlequins who also had a big win over the weekend. But I mean, it's going to be tough for I think most of these games you can't really call, right? I don't think there are that many blowout wins. I'd say the one that seems the most obvious is Leinster versus Leicester, and maybe Bulls and Leon. But other than that, hard to call some of these games.
Yeah, I think you mentioned the biggest frustration is how many of these are repeats. I mean, we've already seen Bulls Leon this season. We've seen Stormers Lower Shot. I think we've seen, as well, Northampton. I'm pretty sure we even seen Leinster this, but I think half these games are
like Exeter Bath, like that happens. You know, this is a game that's seen.
Yeah, not even. I mean, I don't. Just don't think I don't mind the inter-country games. I suppose you kind of have to have them eventually, but for me, there's been so many repeats from the group stages that it's just, I don't know how you. I mean, surely I don't know if it's just one sort of rule change. Or you just sit there say that you can't draw somebody from your group just for one round, because it's just, to be going into the first round of playoffs, the first opportunity to play a different team, and you're not. It's just, that frustrates me. So, but still some great games. I think, yes, I'm really looking forward to that Toulouse Racing game on Sunday. I think that should be a great watch. The Challenge Cup's going to be interesting, because I think, you look there, and I think probably a bit more straightforward in terms of who the favourites are. Sharks at home against Zebre. They've wrapped up with that draw, and this is, to be fair, Zebre have beaten in the season, but Sharks at home, and Zebre kind of dropped off where Sharks
not against Masuku.
Exactly.
Zebre have not played Masuku.
Yeah, the Cheetahs going to West Clermont. It'll be interesting to see how they go there.
Come on, the Cheetahs.
I love riding on them. Ruan Pienaar in the squad.
They've got to do it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a decent squad that they sent over there. Open Hodges involved. Ruan Pienaar obviously there. Just to say Ketil captain it, so hopefully he'll have a good game there. Khalifa and Merwe plays to watch there, so it's a decent side that they've sent over. And then the Lions, probably the most difficult of the games, have to go away to Benetton. Never easy in Treviso. It's a game that they can win, but it's going to be a tough one. I think that along with Montpellier, Ulster, probably the two games of the weekend from a Challenge Cup perspective.
And Park Connacht, to be fair, I think that'll be also a strong one. But it's very hard to predict this Lions Benetton one. Both Lions and Benetton been a little bit up and down recently. Benetton obviously just getting the last minute victory this weekend in the URC versus the Lions, who were down by the Ospreys. So but then again, the week prior, it was the reverse result. Lions getting a victory and Benetton taking a loss. So not really sure which way it could go. I think that home ground advantage is going to play a massive, massive impact, though. But it'll be exciting to see who is up this time next week. As you say, back-to-back weeks of the competitions. So single leg, come straight knockout. It's like a FA Cup from here on out. So
yeah, and if you guys could just do like everybody a favor, win the game and get a home quarter final. So I'm actually in Cape Town next weekend. So
I'm encouraging the boys, and I hope that your prediction reflects that as well, Stevie. Or maybe not. Put your money where your mouth is.
Maybe a bit of reverse psychology there.
And who I'm trying to remember who the Stormers would play if we win that. I think it's the Harlequins versus Glasgow winners, but I stand to be corrected on that. But Stevie, another fringe kind of rugby news. Massive Louis Rees-Zammit picked up by the Kansas City Chiefs in the NFL. A lot of noise around this. He'll be a running back, I believe. This is me speaking about a sport that I've
running back / wide receiver apparently is where he's like.
And apparently, the Kansas City coach, people are likening him to a Rassie Erasmus, very innovative, and they are playing around with even passing the ball, not just once but twice or three times within a phase of play, which is apparent. People are speculating how they can see Louis Rees-Zammit used as a receiver, and then giving little offloads. I don't know if the Sonny Ball Williams pop is going to come into the NFL anytime soon, but I mean, first of all, just big up to Louis Rees-Zammit for taking that risk, essentially, where a lot of people kind of just wrote him off, and now he's got a 3-year deal. Will he play? We don't know, but massive respect to the man.
I think it's a cool crossover. I mean, I'd be interested to see. We always talk about the differences in the game, and if you see something like Louis Rees-Zammit who can make the move across there, and if he does play, for example, there opens for more crossover. And a lot of people are saying, because World Rugby posted about it, and it was like, how could you post about it? This is so bad for the rugby game, and it is a big loss for the rugby game. But I think, the world's becoming a small place. I think there's going to be so much more crossover between different sports, between different brands and stuff like that. I enjoy something like this. I think it's something a bit new, something a bit cool. I mean, I think there's no doubt he's a big loss to the rugby game, but will this drive interest into the NFL?
He'll be back, no doubt.
Oh yeah, no, he's not going to go play NFL for 10 years. I suppose money-wise, maybe he will.
End of his 3-year career, I think, takes him to the 2027 World Cup in Australia. So could maybe even feature in that. Might be a bit of a push. But he'll certainly.
He's so young. He can play the 2031. So he can go there, in some bank, and then come back for Wales and go play a British and Irish Lions tour, go get a World Cup.
Absolutely. And then other news, Stevie. Sam Whitelock retires, the absolute veteran of an All Black, retiring from club rugby, youngest ever All Black to reach 100 caps at 29 years of age. I think 156 international caps by the end of it. Just an absolute beast. So we wish him farewell in his retirement.
One of the most clutch moments in World Cup history. Hey, the turnover against. I was in the stadium there, and I can tell you right now, there were Irish media who I think were willing to climb over that fence to start beating him up.
Yes, just those phases. That it must have been like the 40-something phase. That the Irish are going through, and just unrelenting, and then bang, Sam Whitelock at what felt like 45 years old, defending all 4 people. Just cheers. Sorry, you are not getting to that ball.
No, and just and such a professional. Had the privilege of speaking to him after that game, in the mix zone afterwards, and just quite softly spoken, very humble, very. First thing he sort of said was, he just wanted to contribute. He just wanted to be in and around, and he's willing to do whatever he can just to get this group over. So, one of the most likable guys in rugby. And came from a Springbok fan. He's put us through a lot. He's been part of very good All Black sides who've decimated us.
Have not brought joy to our faces when we see them on the team sheet.
No, and if you look at his record, he's won everything you could possibly win in rugby: World Cups, Super Rugbies, Bledisloe Cups. It's just it's ridiculous what he's won. So one of the all-time greats.
Yeah. And Stevie, let's get into the football that's happened this week. So massive swing in the title race. I mean, any result that isn't a win for Liverpool, Man City, or Arsenal is a massive swing, because that's just how close this title race is. But let's go through a couple of the results from the weekend. Big ones were Newcastle beating West Ham 4-3. Burnley holding on against Chelsea 2-2. Nottingham Forest getting necessary points to kind of avoid the relegation. The 1-1 draw against Palace. Fulham coming from behind to take a point off Sheffield, who looked like they were going to finally get 3 points. Tottenham coming from behind to get Luton to keep themselves in the top 4 race. That was dismantled after a draw with West Ham last night. Man United thinking they've sealed it with a 96th minute goal.
That would have been the most ludicrous result of all time. That if you ever looked up a definition of a smash and grab, that would have been it. Because
no, you didn't deserve that at all.
Ivan Toney had as many touches in the United box that United did at the Brentford box.
Really?
Yeah.
No, it was a well one-sided affair, and Brentford haven't quite managed to kind of get the season rolling. I don't think they're not really getting dragged into that conversation of relegation, but they're just kind of not quite critical enough. But I think you're actually, as much as you lost all 3 points or lost 2 of those 3 points in the 99th minute, I think you can actually be okay with the 1-1 draw. But then Liverpool coming from behind 2-1 versus Brighton. Oh, the stress. I'm losing life, Stevie. I'm losing years of my life watching this Liverpool team go 1-0 down in every single game.
Yeah.
But it proved pivotal to take them top of the table with Man City and Arsenal drawing 0-0. Self-proclaimed, Stevie, most boring 0-0 you've ever
terrible.
watched.
I think I saw a tweet that summed it up, which said if somebody had never watched football and you said, no, sit down and watch the top 2 teams in the league right now, in the best league in the world, they would have gone, okay, I'm never watching football again.
Yeah.
Two teams, too scared. It was one of those things, if they'd walked out.
They were nervous.
And Arteta and Guardiola said, well, should we just take on a 0-0 draw? They would have done it. Both 2 teams too scared to overcommit, too scared to go for it. And I think, it was really frustrating me. I thought it was a while. I mean, Arsenal fans celebrated it massively, which I thought was weird. Because I think that Arsenal.
I mean, it's bigger for them. It keeps them in the hunt.
And 100%. Because now City are 4 points behind Liverpool, so now they need Liverpool. They need other results to go their way. Arsenal obviously also need to, but one draw, for example, and an Arsenal back level with Liverpool. So it didn't mean more to them, but I just also think from an Arsenal perspective, these are the games that they had to win to show their title contenders. And this is now the second time where they haven't been able to go out and get that result. It does make the run interesting. A couple of interesting games coming up. Both Arsenal, I think, and United and Liverpool both play United. So it's about the closest thing we've got to the title race is potentially maybe influencing it.
But no, the run-ins are all fairly similar. Arsenal probably was a little bit more difficult than City. Liverpool, I mean, all the teams are still in Europe. So it's not like they can just abandon ship on other competitions. City are still in the only one still in the FA Cup. But if you look at Opta's stats, which I'm loving the reading, I've been trying not to get too ahead of myself because it reads that Liverpool now are outright favourites of 47% chance of winning the league, with Man City second favourites, 33% chance, and Arsenal is third with an 18% chance.
Arsenal fans must get so happy that kind of stat. They're 2 points behind the league, 1 point ahead of City, and yet they're less than half as likely as to win the league as City are.
They also have a 50% or 49.6% chance of coming third as well, while currently sitting in second. So it's also it is disrespectful things from Opta, but hey,
Opta. If there's one stats company you don't want to take out, it's Opta.
Well, if you say that, Stevie, I am ready to almost celebrate a Premier League.
Football is played on the field.
Yeah, football's played on the field, exactly. Still 9 games to go, and a big games this weekend. Man City Villa. Unfortunately,
that's today.
Only Watkins, or unfortunately, unless you're a Manchester City fan, but that should be a really big game. Chelsea, Man United, Stevie, typically a massive game, but not really much to play for. between the teams. I mean, I did see from Opta's stats that Man United have a 1.4% chance of making top four. So,
well, there you go, dude. I'll take those odds. We've got a game in hand on Villa and Spurs, so don't you stress about that 11-point margin. That'll soon be an 8-point margin.
I mean, Spurs taking a draw last night versus West Ham. So maybe that 1% could have become 2 or 3. Who knows?
Well, as I said, if we do beat Chelsea tomorrow, Villa go down to City, then it means that we can close the gap a little bit there. Got to, I think, within 7 points of them. So, yeah, look, to be honest, the weird thing is, if United get back-to-back victories here, Villa playing Brentford this weekend, the Brentford play anything like that, they could drop points. Spurs have got some massive games coming up. They've got to play, I think they have to play all three teams in that top four. And so it's very small, but
Champions League could be top 5 teams this season with the new format. I believe, and depending on how kind of it all draws out by the end of it, we can't be exactly sure when it will be 4 or 5 teams going through the Champions League, but it does open that door a little bit more.
Yeah, well, it's just annoying because if we had won over the weekend, we're sitting on 9 points behind with game in hand. So you win that game in hand and you're 6 points behind. And 6 points with 9 games to go, you can overturn that kind of deficit. Yeah, but it's the standard thing. Every single time United's got an opportunity to try and close a small gap and try and do something, but you know what? It's a bit of a rightful season. I mean, for example, when it comes to injuries, Lissandro Martinez, Victor Lindelof was out for a month, so United we just can't compete with what injuries had.
It is a bit of a shambles of a season, to be honest. Like, I think you guys just kind of need to draw to a close at this stage. Maybe even get up with an FA Cup, maybe. But then it's also going to be a shaky one this evening for Arsenal versus Luton. Luton obviously scrambling for in a relegation battle versus the title challenger. Those are always good games when they kind of start to get cagey. You just don't know which way they could go. And then tomorrow, Sheffield, Liverpool. I'm hoping that Liverpool just dismantle Sheffield and don't even give them a sniff. But obviously, the same scenario, team trying to get out of relegation versus a team going for the league. And it's just sometimes that your log position becomes very irrelevant at this part of the season because there are bigger things at play. And you actually don't, as long as you want to be playing actually more like a mid-table team.
You want to be playing against your Brightons, your Wolves, even your Chelseas, teams who are there, they're safe from relegation. They can't make anything. They kind of just flipping along to the end of the season.
There's no repercussions to a bad result, essentially. But we've got a midweek game week. We've got this weekend some exciting ones, most notably Brighton Arsenal. Brighton kind of falling in that category in the middle, not much to play for, but have been playing well recently. Man United Liverpool, Stevie. You boys are hosting us again, a repeat of that recent unbelievable FA Cup game, and then a big one, Spurs versus Forest, top 4 battle versus relegation battle, and Forest were looking very good last night. Ended up winning that game 3-1, and it could have been many more. They got their tails up, and they obviously, having just taken a 4-point deduction, are looking to kind of get the ball rolling and make sure that they don't let Luton kind of bring them down into that relegation battle. But lots of Premier League at the moment, which is delightful after that international break.
Yeah, the number of international breaks. So we're now really into the Champions League returns next week. So we're into the business end of the season. This is where it all gets very exciting. This games are coming thick and fast. And one of those things where you step up now, any sort of momentum you lose, proves obviously for relegation, for title challenge, for top 4. So it's one of those games where now there's no such thing as a game that means nothing. Every game now, if you're in that top 4 battle, if you're in the relegation scrap, if you're in Europe or FA Cup, you can't afford to step up.
And nothing's decided, which is nice. Often at this stage of the season, you kind of know the champion. Maybe who's getting relegated. There's a top 4 race. I guess it's mostly between 2 teams. Maybe Man United can bring themselves into that conversation. relegation battle is still wide open, and there's a 3-way charge for the Premier League. So it means that almost all games there, as you said, there's something to be played for, which is just exactly what you want and what you love about this part of the season. But Stevie, let's get into the cricket, and it's been another week of IPL. We are only 16 games into a total of 74. We were just discussing before this. I mean, it is just a monster of a tournament. There's just so much cricket. But don't worry, we understand that you lot can't always keep up with that. So you have Stevie and I just to give you a recount of kind of, what's happening over the lay of the land of the IPL. And who's doing what. Just a quick snapshot of the standings at the moment. Rajasthan Royals are 3 from 3 sitting at the top with KKR, who are having only played 2, but sitting in second position. Every other team having taken at least 1 loss. And then right at the bottom, you have Mumbai Indians doing a classic start to the season that they do every single year, and taking a couple losses. So they're 0 from 3. A lot of drama there with Hardik Pandya taking the reins from Rohit Sharma, getting
terrible captain
stadium. Just a bit of a toxic environment going on at the Mumbai Indians. But Stevie, the Mumbai Indians, man, we'd like to speak about Kwena Maphaka. 2 different games. Makes his IPL debut. The 17-year-old gets absolutely dismantled. A really horrible debut. Gets, I mean, in a record-setting innings, the highest innings ever in an IPL, and Kwena going for just a bag load of runs, singles, 50 something in the end, no wickets, and really kind of a baptism of fire. He has come back in the next game.
Careful. You can upset people if you say that.
We will get into that conversation, but let's jump into it now. Dale Steyn tweets. Stevie, talk to us.
Yeah, look, so it's been an interesting one, and I've kind of sort of stayed out of it for most of it, but because I can kind of understand the outrage, I can also understand why some people are saying it wasn't that hectic. But basically what happened is that on the back of Maphaka being, I think it was after his first 2 overs, and Travis Head was absolutely battering everyone. And he came out with a tweet, and I'll quote the tweet saying, Maphaka realizing the difference between under 19 and the Pro League baptism of fire. Now, this has now completely exploded, and South African fans, in fact, cricket fans in general are very, very upset about it, basically saying that, he's 17, he doesn't need to...
South Africa's best ever bowler.
It doesn't, bringing him down, adding to the critics, for example, was never really... the follow-up tweet, which came a day later, sort of saying, I woke up feeling for Kwena Maphaka today, but I know he's surrounded by some amazing people at MI, and he's going to be absolutely fine. His first experience, regardless of results or performance, will still be the most amazing experience he's ever had. At just 17, it's only upwards from here. Well done, young man. Everybody basically saying that, when you start tweeting that basically a day later, it's basically damage control. Yeah. So it's an interesting one, I mean, for example, Dwayne Bravo came out with a post on Instagram with a long thing saying
support for Maphaka.
Yeah, all the teams came out.
Not just the next day, on the day of as well.
On the day of, as it was happening, like Dwayne Bravo coming out and saying, congratulations, young man, this is superb, 17 years old. So, he's not done himself a world of good, Chaz Dale Steyn. I mean, that tweet's been reviewed over 2 million times. And a lot of South Africans very, very upset about it.
Yeah, it's kind of where the flippancy of Twitter meets like a serious conversation, right? Because a tweet, you kind of just throw it out there because it's true, right? It was a baptism of fire. Like he got up there and he kind of was in the deep end and he just got tucked into. Like he got bashed around in a game that it wasn't just him getting bashed around. Every bowler was getting bashed around.
Yeah.
He just happened to get the worst of it. He's obviously like the shiny new toy that everyone's looking at. The player of the tournament and the under-19 World Cup, gets a contract with Mumbai. people are going to be watching when he plays, and then when it goes that wrong, it's like it's easy to put it down to not enough experience and stuff like that. And there's a possibility that that was the case. So I mean, I don't see a massive issue with what Dale said. I don't think he's the type of guy that just writes off South African talent in general. He always seems to be nurturing them. And you look at his involvement in both of Sunrise's Eastern Cape's wins. He seems to be very close with the players and very relatable character. He's not like this military sergeant person. He's a very laid back guy, and I guess it's just deciding as a previous international and probably massive role model to Kwena, or where you want to stand between being that person and just someone who's speaking their mind, because he's just speaking their mind, which is probably what most people were thinking. But from the perspective of this role model, it seems that now you're pulling this kid down with you. That's how I see it. I'm not sure about you.
Yeah, I think it was, as you said, I think given the nature of his following, the nature of who he is and the nature of the situation, I think it was probably quite irresponsible. Again, from a pure factual point of view, he wasn't wrong. Some people are blowing up a bit too much. People have turned into a bit of a racial issue, saying that they would never have said this about Brave and stuff like that. And I think that's when you start reaching. It's just. Yeah, I think that I think he needs to understand the voice, and also that it's Twitter. You can't convey tone. You can't tell people how you meant it, for example. So people and you put it up for their own interpretation. So I think it was a bit of a need as well. I don't think he needed to put it out there. I think if he wants to put it out there, I think he could have put it out there a bit better. And I think the problem as well is that there was no response till a day later. So it did kind of come across as that it was a bit of damage control. He just once tweeted. So I think some people have sort of latched onto it, and now is a sort of a bit of first attack on Dale. So I think that it just shows you how, what you think might be an innocent tweet, and just sort of saying like, this is it, can blow up.
I think also people are looking for a reason to support Kwena Maphaka, as we all are, because no one wants to see a young kid like have that type of experience. Although with that being said, it's probably gonna benefit him a lot in the long run. But it's hard to see that in the kind of heat of the moment. And when looking to support someone like Kwena Maphaka, you're looking at the person who didn't support them. That being Dale Steyn, this big figure. So my way of supporting Kwena Maphaka is saying, Dale Steyn, you are talking nonsense. Like, screw you. Who do you think you are? And there was, as we said, there was a hell of a lot of support for Kwena Maphaka, which was like around the whole cricketing community, not just South African.
And the IPL teams, as I said, Bravo, cricketers, Kevin Peterson, a lot of people getting behind him, and as they should. I mean, he's the most exciting player, young bowler in the world right now. Exactly. And for good reason.
And what everyone was worried about is that he doesn't get picked again, and then that haunts him, right? Yeah. He doesn't do that. He comes back the next week, gets given the opening ball, the first over again, and manages to get a wicket of Jaiswal, a big wicket. So gets the Meadow wicket, the monkeys off the back. Now, hopefully, we can just continue to see him throughout the season and a couple more wickets, because there's just nothing more exciting than someone in that opening season where a lot of these players don't know him. They don't know what he's bowling. He's quite, he's a typical kind of left arm in swinger, but he's the new kid on the block. It's like, what is this kid's ceiling? And the IPL is the best place to kind of see that.
Yeah, and the answer for what his ceiling is really he wants to be. He's got the talent to be the best bowler in the world. It's a bold thing to say at 17, but you look at him and you just think he's bowling in the 140s, almost mid 140s, and he's 17 years old. He'll only get quicker. You look at Nandre Berger, who took a while but is now bowling mid 150s and get up to 153, 154. And it's taken him until 27, 28 to get there. You look at Kwena where he is now, and he's got a repeatable action. It's not an action which I think will place tremendous strain on his body. It is fairly orthodox. Phenomenal Yorker, can move the ball both sides. I think he's going to be a terrific test player. For the 4 tests he'll get to play his entire career. So yeah, look, I think I said so. I think it's a lesson learned for Dale. I think that he'll I think probably hopefully learn from this, understand
Yeah, I
that
think
that people look to him.
You
Yeah,
know,
it is Twitter.
people forget about it in a week, and it's fine. But
well, Dale will be the bowling coach in like 3-4 years. Kwena will be playing for the Pro Tiers. They'll both start selfie together, and they'll be like, "Oh, look, there we go," and off we go. But there's also some other South Africans because we can talk about this all day. And I want to focus a little bit about the bowling talent we've got. Now, Gerald Coetzee has been expensive, but he generally is. He's a wicket-taking player. So he's gotten 3 wickets at the moment. But I want to talk a little about Nandre Burger and Kigiso Abada. Nandre Burger, almost a surprise purchase in that IPL auction, and how good has he been? 5 wickets at 9.1 from a run rate perspective, but I mean, just bowling absolute rockets. I think he's the second fastest bowler in the IPL this season. There's bowled a 153 ball so far.
Speaking of left arm in swingers,
we've been waiting. I mean, he's always been a talented bowler, but I think he's just added that extra 5 to 10 kilometers of pace in the last few years. At 142, 143, you're brisk. 150 is a different demon.
Yeah,
you get up to that 90 miles plus
with a bit of bounce at someone's eye, at like their eye line. It's so difficult to come up against, and especially maybe at international level, a lot of them have faced that. It's still not common. 150 Ks an hour isn't common still, so it's going to be difficult, and it's going to be ugly to face.
And so good to see pace back in South Africa. I mean, for years we had Rabadi. He was the only player who could really get up to sort of 145, 146. Lungi Gidi, after his injury, struggled to get back to those sort of speeds. And now you think, I mean, Nokia's taking a bit of a break from South Africa, but I mean, you've got Gerald Coetzee who can get up to 150. Nokia gets up to 150. Nandre Burger gets up to 150. So, you could have an attack, for example, of a Burger, Rabada, Nokia, or a Coetzee, where Rabada is the third slowest. Third fastest in that lineup. So, very, very good place to be from a South African bowling perspective, because raw pace is back. Nokia's back with a wicket as well. Rabada's bowling really well. Not going for many runs, taking wickets. And the batting, well, I watched Quinton last night, and he looked back to close to his best. Faf du Plessis struggling a little bit at the moment. Looked good last night before throwing his wicket away. Stubbs has had a nice innings, though. Rivers struggling a little bit as well. But Heinrich Klaasen, the best T20 player in the world.
He is the best T20 player in the world. I mean, what he has become over the last 3 seasons is just ridiculous. He is literally went from like a lower Albany, Eastern Cape, like farmer hack around player who just used brute force, and now he does the exact same thing but can just time the ball better than anyone else in the world. Yeah. He is just so strong. He gets into position so early. He's just there's no target that's too high, you feel. There's no run rate that's too high for him to chase. Coming in at 5, he kind of knows his position. He's generally coming in the second half of an innings. He can build as well if he wants to, but he's just, I mean, at a strike rate of 219, obviously the one big innings of 80 not out, so he's 167 runs after his 3 innings.
He's the third highest scorer so far.
Third highest scorer, and no hundreds yet in this IPL, but just really, really good, and he is going to be massive for not only this season's IPL, but the Proteas in the T20 World Cup. But interesting to see what kind of, out of these batsmen, who's going to kind of, put their name in the hat for the T20 World Cup. Obviously, we've mentioned Klaasen. He's at the top of the post for South Africa. Quinton, with that, takes his total run tally to 139 runs. Miller, one decent score of 44 not out, but also only 73 runs over the innings. Markram
looked very, very good in that 44, though. It looked like he was probably back to his best.
Getting back to it, we're not sure. We haven't quite seen the kind of peak Miller that we're used to as consistently as we once had. So I'm hoping that this IPL can get that form back. As you said, Markram high score 42, only also 77 runs over 3 innings. A bit of a slower on the strike rate front, only 128. and you mentioned Stubbs and Brevets there, both getting scores in the 40s. So I mean, it's going to be probably at least the top 4 run scorers from this IPL are going to be guaranteeing their spots in the T20 South African T20 team. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Obviously, only really 3 games in for each of them. So I think it's just
30 days.
Exciting to see. But Stevie, in some non-IPL news, we have seen Ben Stokes opt out of the T20 World Cup, chosen not to represent England there to essentially focus on test matches and actually being an all-rounder. I wonder if this is heat from a poor batting performance essentially in India from him, and being someone who was previously, really a batting all-rounder, but contributed significantly with the ball, to now going into series. I think he only bowled 5 overs and not having a good time with the bat. Obviously, he's the captain. Do you feel that he feels that he needs to be contributing with the ball and just can't handle the schedule? I mean, we saw him retire from the ODI, from England ODIs, and then came back for that World Cup. Wasn't a very fruitful World Cup for England, but how do you see this decision from Stokes?
Look, I don't think that he is the be or end all, especially when it comes to T20 side. I mean, we all know the quality he has. But he's withdrawn from the IPL. He's withdrawn from T20 World Cup. And I think if he's going to sit there in the front and say Test cricket is the most important brand, and he's Test captain, for example, then he needs to make it his priority.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. I think he has to bowl. He's a phenomenal batsman, but he doesn't come off enough to be an out-and-out, number 4, for example.
Yeah.
He when he bowls, he suddenly becomes one of the best all-rounders in the world, if not the best all-rounder in the world.
Yes.
Alongside the likes of, for me, like Cameron Green, who I think is going to very much be in that conversation for a long time to come. But yeah, I think as I said, baseball, and they do play so many tests, so it's not like you're never going to see a South African player focus on tests because we don't play enough of them. But they do play enough. It is financially rewarding for them. So I think it's the right decision for him. I don't think he would be. I think he'd make a difference, obviously, to the England T20 side. But I think that there's enough depth in the England white ball setup that they can cope quite easy without him. So yeah, and all in all, I think it's the right decision from him because he needs to get back to playing cricket at his best ability. To have failed in India would have been a big question mark against him. In terms of can he make it as a batsman type thing. So yeah, I think it's the right decision. Be cool.
Yeah, agreed. Stevie, let's wrap up the show with the predictions of the week. We're going to go 3 different fixtures. We're going to go, and all of us with skin in the game for all 3 fixtures. First of all, Stormers La Rochelle. Stormers hosting La Rochelle at home in the Champions Cup. We've got the second match, which is going to be Benetton versus the Lions. Lions are away, playing in Italy in the Challenge Cup. And then we have got the Premier League, some would argue the biggest rivalry, Man United hosting Liverpool in Manchester. This is actually one of the games where it doesn't even matter if no one's playing for anything. It's just going to be huge.
Yeah.
Stevie, let's start off with Stormers. La Rochelle, you will be going first because you didn't win this week, but you won last week, so I'm carrying that over.
Right. Okay. You're not going to like this. Maybe it's a bit of reverse psychology, but I think La Rochelle take this. I think they're a side that this is their competition. They're back-to-back winners.
You're just trying to coax the Stormers into hearing you say this and to get them.
That's what I said. A little bit of reverse psychology, But yeah, they kind of stuck through to the playoffs, finishing third in the group. Although to be fair, you only have 4th place progress. But I think the Stormers at the moment have been a shadow of themselves, and I still haven't seen enough from them to really convince me otherwise. So I think that La Rochelle will send a strong side, and I think they'll get the job done. So I'm going to go La Rochelle by 5.
Okay, I think it's fair. I'm worried just because I know how clutch La Rochelle are, and it's not that they've had an unbelievable season, and Stormers also haven't had an unbelievable season. But I'm definitely going to have to back the boys. I think it's going to be. I'm going to go kind of a repeat of the last one, which essentially won in the last minute. I'm going to go Stormers by 2. Very
Nice,
very
nice and close.
close game. I think if Stormers get it done, it's going to have to be very tight. I'm going to back my boys. I think they're going to be a couple more tries in this one. And I can't stand to. A couple of weeks ago, you backed Stormers by more points than me, and you got a point, and I can't let that happen ever again. Match 2 is Benetton versus Lions, and I'll go first for this one. Stevie, I think the Lions are going down. I think they're losing to Benetton. I think they have too much momentum.
That's just spiteful because I didn't back your boys.
No, well, I mean, yes, but
no, yes, but not the point.
No, but yes, not the point. The point being is that Benetton are just unreal. They have just they're such. I think at home they are a different beast. I think Lions away aren't nearly as strong as they are at home, and I think Benetton going with just a lot more momentum. And to be honest, I think I get the sense that Benetton wanted more, and probably not something that you want to hear, but I think they've had a really good season. It's sliding a little bit in the URC, but this is like a big opportunity to prove themselves on the European stage. So I'm going to go Benetton by 4.
They're by 4. I'm going to go Lions by 3. I got about my boys. Let Nahama cook.
Yeah, I think he's a big hope. He's kind of one of your only hopes that he has an unbelievable game. And it will be open. To be fair, it will be open.
No, I think there'll be tries. I think it'll ebb and flow. The Lions, I think, are a side that can come back to towards the end. So I think as long as they're in the game with 15 minutes to go, I back them. It frustrates me how they don't really see off games, but once if they're in with a shot, they've got a really strong finish in them. So hopefully that comes down to some good conditioning. I think we're missing Henk van Dijk a lot, and I think we'll miss Hasnatin and Kabakanya at scrum time. But a lot of players are. Yeah, I think it's small things. Marius Lowe for me as a player, when he plays well, the Lions play well. So I think if he has a good game this weekend, Kieran Hall knows where I'll score a try. We've got enough to beat Benetton. It's just whether we decide to pitch up or not.
Yeah. And then the final game, Man United versus Liverpool, we had this exact same prediction for the FA Cup. I was a couple minutes away from getting that prediction right, but you ended up getting it right with Man United winning that one 4-3 in extra time a couple of weeks ago. Stevie, what are you going for this time?
Another 4-3. Draw, actually. No, I want to go to draw.
Okay. I think that means mentally you've lost it already, but continue.
No. Well, you tell me which is the. Right, hello everyone, welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. It is a Sunday afternoon. It's a bit nicer up here in Joburg. It is down at Kings Park. Very wet and a little bit chilly, I think, conditions down in Durban. And wet conditions are probably mean a bit of a scrappy game coming up in a few minutes. It is Sharks versus Zebre in the Challenge Cup. And if I'm not mistaken, the final Challenge Cup game of the weekend. No, it's Palver's kind of after this. So 2 more teams still to progress, and for me, it should be pretty straightforward, really, for the Sharks. They are taking on the Zebra side, who admittedly have beaten them, but they're at home, and they're playing better rugby, and they've got a much better team at the moment, and things seem to be going a little bit better for the Sharks than in recent times. So I think it should be a pretty straightforward game for them, and I expect to see them progress into the quarterfinals. And personally, I think they have to basically be all in on this competition because, it's been such a bad season for the Sharks that they're not going to qualify for the Champions Cup through the URC. So this offers them an opportunity to try and sneak a bit of qualification to their Champions Cup if they were to win this competition. So, and you know what, and they have to play well to win this competition as well. But you look at the quality of the players in the side, and we're going to go through the sides in just a bit. And for me, absolutely no excuse why they couldn't really be pushing to win this competition. Go put in a poll saying who will win the game.
Go and vote for it down in the comments below. But yeah, let's go to the side. So for the Sharks, they'll be captained by the Kanya in the front row. It is the Techbaditswe, also known as Ox in chair. Bongi Manambi, Vincent Koch. In the second row, it's Corne Roll and Emil van Heerden. No Eben Etzebeth, who is out with a niggle. James Fenter, Vincent Tutuka, Pepsi Bootlazy, the back row there. Jaden Hendrickson, a partner, Siam Masuku, Makazoma Pimpy, Werner Koch, Apele Fassi, the back three, a centre pairing of Ethan Hooker. Next to his captain, the Kanya. Off the bench, it will be Kieran van Vuren, into Tuka, Hanro Jacobs, Cabran Kropler, Jean-Ray Lapis Labaskakni, Grant Williams, Curran Bosch, and Francois Fenter. We have got kickover. It's an early touch for Makazoma Pimpy. Around to contact. I'm just going to quickly put on my fan because it's a bit hot in here. And we'll go through the Zebre side in just a bit, but it's a solid start that from the Pimpy. And it looks like the rain has stopped, so not currently raining, but you expect it to be quite wet underfoot. Jaden Henderson goes to the boot. Makazoma Pimpy giving chase, as is James Fenter. And it's knocked backwards from Zebre and cleaned up pretty well. Eventually it goes back to Tiff Eden. Big strong tackle on him, back on the team meter line. Yeah, big counter-attack coming as well. Good pressure this from the Sharks. And Pitanari now will just set up a bit of a ruck so that Alessandro Fasco can start to really sort of decide what to do. He's going to go to the boot chair, is the scrum off. Not gone particularly high and far there. His best kick, and it's taken pretty well there, let me say, by Pier Bruno, one of the Italian nationals in Zebre side. Jetty. And a penalty there from the Sharks, which allow me to go through this Zebre side. So in the front row, Danilo Faschetti, Gian Pietro Riboldi, Jean Pitanari. They're backed up by David Ceci and Andrea Zambanon, Guido Volpi, Josh Kafer, and David Ruggieri. In that back row. Alessandro Fasco partners Tiff Eden, the very exciting and devastatingly quick Simone Gessi in the number 11 jersey. Pierre Bruno at the side, Lorenzo Pani at full back. In the centers, it will be Damiano Matza and Franco Smith Jr., the son of Franco Smith, obviously, coach of Plaza. I'll get in there eventually. A former coach of Italy is what I was going with there. So that's why it's sort of the son has ended up in Italy there. But very keen to see what he can do. Very young player, 24 years of age. An opportunity for him to sort of show his worth against the Sharks. Off the bench for Zebre, it is Luca Bigi, Luca Rosolo, Ian Nicolai, Leonardo Kremov, Giovanni Licata, Thomas Beniguez, Jacobo Trola, and Baptiste Starville. It's pretty solid more defense this from the Sharks. The ball should be available, though, for Fasco, and is. Now, big carry that coming from Currie. Good work here from Zebre. Hey, a pretty cool kit, by the way. Bright pink they are today. Sharks in the Challenge Cup, black with a bit of gold in and around that. So being patient here on the attack here are Zebre. Pick and go here from Zebre. Going through the phase of the penalty advantage. You have 4 offside against the Sharks. So a bit of free roll of the dice here. They can get that ball out. A good pick up and goes here from Zebre. Very impressive stuff here. Alessandro Fasco, I think, might look to go to the back line. No, we're going to keep it under the forwards at the moment. DC now the captain. Another penalty advantage. Almost through. Good carry that from Lorenzo Pani. Now Pitanari. Big tight head, solid tackle on him. Pretty relentless there, Burr, but no penalty advantage. They'll go back for the initial penalty. I think they've actually got 2 here, and I reckon they'll probably pop this out. But that's a nice 2 phases there from Zebre. They get a lot of confidence out of that. Right, Tiff Eden going for the 3 points. They're probably the right decision. They looked promising on their attack, Zebre, but to be fair, they got through a lot of phases and didn't get much success. So just taking the points here, probably the safe option. Good work there to be in adding the extra 3 there. Or adding the 3, I suppose. Right, now Siamasuku, who I think has been part of the big change really with the Sharks. I think he's been really good recently. He gets the restart down the right side, and you can see all the water there. All it seems to be also a slope down that bottom right there, and every single step is kicking a bit of water, so very wet down there. Just see how much rain has been down in Durban. Now Fasco will go to the boot and looking for touch. Will find touch. Not a massive amount of distance there. It's about halfway between the 22 and the 10 meter line, but does find touch. So in the end, it's a good restart that from Zebre. Almost a bit of space there for Ethan Hooker. He's going on a bit of a roll. Man of the match 2 weeks ago in his first start. Siamasuku showing go inside ball to Vincent Tutuka. Vincent Tutuka's going to go over. The big dive comes from the big man. That's the kind of moment he's been waiting for. But Siamasuku, silky, 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 silky. I can see what it means to him. He's really been struggling so far this season. Just to find some game time, some consistency, and that'll give him a lot of confidence. There's Siamasuku with the space there. Ethan Hooker with the initial break. Quick ball, yeah, Siamasuku wanted it quickly, yeah. Goes himself, shows the dummy, bang, inside ball to Vincent Tuka. Simone Gessi had gone too wide, and so much space for Tuka in. Good start, that. And the extras added by Siamasuku right in front. So Sharks lead 7 points to 3 after 8 minutes. And it's just such an intelligent ball inside there. Taking out two defenders with it. And it was almost a really good chase that from Zebre, who almost actually went back off the kickoff. In fact, they actually have, because it's a knock on there. Jaden Henderson can't believe it. He's having a word with the assistant, but the referee has signaled a scrum for Zebre, so not the best restart that for the Sharks. I'll give a number receiving a bit of treatment. Yes, Robin, this is down in Durban, a very wet Durban. Solid hit there from the Sharks. Expect them to have scrum dominance, but that's pretty well done by Zebre just to hold him up. Good platform involved, yeah. Now Tiff Eden looking for options. Well read. Solid carry there coming from Pierre Bruno. Quickly recycled though. And Ruggieri takes into contact. That's a nice big carry. I think that's Ribaldi. Into the 22, Zebre go. On the left-hand side, once again, TV just popping it up. And that is Franco Smith. Now CC. A couple of defenders up quickly. So on the 22 here. Lost a bit of momentum there. Oh, it's a big tackle from Bongi Manambi on Madza. Tiff Eden looking for options here. Slips the tackle there, does Lorenzo Pani. Left-hand side, yeah. Good hands, good hands. Bit of space there. Close eventually, but much better this from Zebre. Quick recycle there. Tiff Eden. Good hands, good hands. Great take that from Franco Smith. In behind him, so lost all the momentum, but more importantly, they have kept possession here. Now big carry there from Pitanari. And penalty for the Sharks. Coming in from the side into the call. Oxford chair was over it. Coming in from the side, there is the call from the referee. Eric saying, thank you for the broadcast, Stephen. It's blowing a gale here, staying in today in the UK. Yeah, apparently down in Cape Town, very, very windy. I think it was the game between Cape Town City and Amazulu has been. They were saying no spectators are coming due to safety concerns. Great kick there for Sia Basuku. He's put the Sharks just short of the 22. So from 22 to 22, Sharks all of a sudden back on the front foot here. Bongi Manambi will feed the line out. Well taken that from Pesi Buthelezi. Hendricks are going to corner roll. Big fan of the youngster. Ethan Hooker now. Going himself. Announced himself to rugby fans a couple of weeks ago. Looking to try and kick on now. See Masuku looking for options. Trying to get his hands through the tackle there. So going to Vincent Tuka. Good momentum this time from the Sharks. Hendrickson now to Kanya. Not the best pass. And pretty fast to go back to fetch it. Maximo Pimpy going a little bit laterally. Give a bit of space to try and straighten. And they've driven him back towards the 10-meter line. Good defense this from Zebre. Bongi Manambi inside ball to Oxen Chair. Does very well to hang on. It was a good tackle by Ribaldi. And on the right-hand side. Inside ball there from Suku. Too fussy. Fussy trying to get the offload away. And it's come forward. So a knock-on advantage. I think actually a double knock-on there. It will be a scrum for Zebre. Another break and play here as one of the Zebre front rows gets some attention. Not too many fans in, given the weather conditions, but there's a crowd to a certain extent. Right, we're now ready to get back underway. Scrum. And once again, so Sharks have yet to have an attacking scrum where I think you'll really see them try to assert their dominance with that World Cup winning front row. Ball eventually comes in from Fusco and available at the back. Goes on the right-hand side to Eden. And Franco Smith Jr. goes to the boot. Right up against the touchline. Oh, it's a brilliant kick. It's almost put to 22, you know. Allowed that to bounce. And that is inch perfect from the youngster. Grey College, as you can imagine. Franco Smith was coaching the Cheetahs at the time, went to Grey College, played 2 seasons at the Cheetahs before moving over to Italy with his father. Was initially at Benton before going on loan to Zebre, and is now playing in, I think, his 2nd or 3rd season, officially, as a permanent player. Has found game time a little bit hard to come by. Right, Hendricks there. This is trying to delete. This inside. Profits and spilt. In fact, it's actually grabbed and second attempt from Bruno. Good work there from him. So Zebre with possession. Nice carry that. Available, but Fusco taking a while because he wants a couple of players to come in and block. He wants to go to the butcher. They have a good chase. That's much better from him. Just outside 22, updated faster up against the touchline. Not too many chases though. Not quite sure where the backline players were. He locks the gave chase there. Koch met behind the gain line. Good work that from the couple of front rows for Zebre. Hendricks the back of the Caterpillar. His turn, and again, that's not gone particularly far. Knocked back by Zebre, and it'll be picked up on the ground, but a double knock on there. I think it'll be a Sharks put-in. It is a Sharks put-in. So they'll have their first scrum of the day, and again, I think this is where we'll see them have a real go at the Zebre front row. Maxwell Pippi just saying that he was blocked in trying to go from that. I think he'd be wrong in saying that, actually having a look at that. Well, that's not particularly good. That's Pierre Bruno who's been replaced here for Zebre. So Jacob Otrella onto the park. Big player to lose for Zebre. One of their better players. Pierre Bruno, 27-year-old. 15 caps for Italy. 3 tries in those. To the World Cup last year. And they've had a check here, by the way. And the scrum has been putting the scrum has been changed, by the way. It's actually going to be a Zebre scrum. All of a sudden, it's an attacking scrum for Zebre, just outside the 22. Big scrum that from the Sharks, and the penalty does come for them. And this is where I think that Zebre are going to struggle. They had initial couple of scrums they managed to hold firm, but they've been just brutalized there. And this is the thing. I think Oxenshire is going to have a big day today. Huge shift ahead for Jean Petinari against Oxenshire. He's such a devastating scrummager. He's mistouched there since Suku, so it's his first mistake of the day. And Lorenzo Pani in return puts in a brilliant kick, and he's found touch for shy of the 22. So that's really good work there from Zebre. That second shove there was just so impressive. Good work there. Good maul so far from the Sharks. Bongi Manami controlling things at the back. Okay, goes to Masuku. Masuku looking for a bit of space on that right-hand side. A strange kick, really, but a penalty advantage anyway, so they'll go back for it. Touch this time from Masuku. First of all, finds touch. On 22 here. Sharks were promising running more. And I think in my preview, I basically said that I think the biggest issue that I don't see how Zebre compete with the Sharks' physicality. This pack is so good. So many world-class players involved. And I just think that that's where they're going to dominate. Good line out there. Good stuff there from here from Hayden. Pops up to Oxen Chair. Bongi Manami around the corner. Couple of big hits on him, though. Still going forward, though. Oxen Chair this time gets through one tackle. Eventually brought down. Sharks into 22 now. James Fenter spinning away from one of the tackles. Still going as James Fenter. That's a very strong carry from the number 6. Kanya back on the angle. Now corner roll. Takes the direct route. Big hit on him. Vincent Koch now. Good momentum from the Sharks. Ethan Hooker pops it up to Vincent Tsuka, the try scorer. Yamasuku goes himself. Casey Buthelezi puts his head down. James Fenton now. 12 phases now for the Sharks. Vincent Koch popping it up to Ethan Hooker. The better defense though from Zebre. They're looking much better organized. Casey Buthelezi. David Cece trying to get over that ball. But it's available for Hendrickson. Goes down the right-hand side. Pimpy makes a few yards. A couple of the Zebre players are up quickly there. Pick up and go. And that's going to be held up, I think. No, in fact, he's done very well there to wrestle his hands free and dot down as Werner Koch. The 7th experience there, I think. Pick up and go. That's good work there. To really wrestle around to try and free up his arms. Get that grounding. Starts the second try. And looking pretty solid so far in the early stages here. I see Masuku conversion on the right-hand side here. Pretty good, actually. Yeah, it's a great kick from Masuku. So he's 2 from 2. 14 points to 3. Can start this for the Sharks halfway through the first half. Werner Koch, who's playing his last few months at the Sharks, will be moving over to Ireland next season, playing for Ulster. Bit of a slip there from Vincent Tuka, but Pimpy does clean up. And a penalty for not releasing against Zebre. So a free exit for them. That's poor there. Trying to put pressure on after the kickoff and conceding that penalty means the Sharks will have a free exit here. Yeah, pretty poor from Zebre. Really didn't really have license to try and compete with that ball. Silly mistake, really, to be perfectly honest. Right, Masuku lifts us high in the air. Right, clock goes up, and it falls to James Fenter. He gets the offload away to BITDEFENDER. BITDEFENDER goes to the left boot there. Here's a man back for Zebre. Won't find touch though. Sia Masuku, I think this is back on his Maphaka for company. Tries to go himself to Sia Masuku. Work there from him. Growing in confidence here as the Sharks fly half. Popping up to Pepsi Buthelezi. Popping it back to Vince Tuku, knocks it backwards. Then pops it up to Mapimpi, but no, there was a knock on. I thought there might have been a small knock on there. So we'll go back for the scrum there. Very, very slippery. Difficult for to play a bit of an offload game here. Given how slippery that ball is. Last time there was a scrum that was a penalty for the Sharks. Reset, yeah. Inside their own half here, Zebre, pretty much the center of the park. Richard, who are you giving us an update there? Saying Toulouse 5, Racing is 0 at the moment. I would really like to watch that game. Manchester United also kicking off here in a few minutes, which is a game I would like to watch versus Liverpool. But alas, I don't get what I want, do I? Because I've got to show some rugby here because it's Sharks versus Zebre on a Sunday afternoon. And therefore, we're going to watch it. And Tiff Eden there is going to put this up in the air there from the free kick from the scrum. I think Sharks getting a little bit overexcited there. And clears that up in fast. So it'll be a line for Zebre there. Really taking the average from Zebre, not moving around. Work there. That'll chip over the top. He's going to come from Fusco. And that's a great kick from him. No penalty advantage though, so go back for the penalty, but it's a great kick from Fusco. Already practicing his getting it onto a bit of a dial there. Good kick that from Benzapani. Bit of a smirk, a bit of a smile on his face there. He knows it's good. He's putting his team in a good position. The question is, can they take advantage of it and try and hit back? 12 and a half minutes left on the clock. And at the moment, an 11-point lead for the Sharks. A converted try for Zebre would very much put them back in the game. Bit of a messy line up there, and I think it's actually been knocked on by the Sharks. So playing an advantage here for Zebre, but they're back on the 22. You try and build momentum, and they do that to the Regeri. And knock backwards. I think we'll go back for the initial knock on by the Sharks. So it'll be a scrum for Zebre. But you can see the conditions very, very tricky. It's very wet. And it's been raining all weekend over in Durban. Right, so big opportunity here from Zebre, but first things first, we've got to try and counter this Shark scrum. Just basically need to anchor it and be able to get the ball in and out. I don't think they're ever going to really compete or try and win scrum penalties, but they can just provide themselves a bit of a platform to try and attack. There's some exciting players in this back line. We haven't seen Simone Gezi with the ball. Huge scrum once again, but they do manage to get it off the back there. Good work there from Regeri. Sketty breaking the line and being held up by Vincent Stuka. And ripping the tackle there by Werner Koch. Ethan Hooker comes away with the ball there. Good work that from the Sharks, but they're going to go all the way back. I think there's a penalty advantage there for Zebre. Okay, so there's a knock on there from another scrum. Yeah, we had a lot of scrums, which you'd imagine from in wet conditions. Yeah, so the rip initially there from Ethan Hooker was good, but then saying that it came forward off of him. He snatched up by Werner Koch. Another scrum here from Zebre, and a lot of pressure from this Sharks front row. Right, so less than 10 minutes left on the clock in the first half. Zebre desperately needs to try and score for half-time and try and remain in this contest. Been quite close so far. Sharks have scored 2 tries and have looked the better of the sides, but Zebre are hanging in there. Right, here we go. On the left-hand side, about 10 meters out here for a very big attack opportunity here for Zebre. Once again, I think this will be one of those things. You put the ball in underneath the hooker's feet, get it out very, very quickly. Another reset here. Referee's actually come to the other side. He's going to watch Oxford share this contest with Pitanari. So we're going to have a talking to you from the referee. There's no stability. There. So just talking about the fact, he said the head's not in the right position at the moment, and he said that if I see another mistake like that, he's going to free kick them. Just scrum that. Gone down. Penalty for the Sharks. Onto the knee is the call against Pitanari. I think it was one of those could have gone either way, to be perfectly honest. I'd like to see that again. But a big penalty there for the Sharks as they absorbed all the pressure and now will clear through the boot of Sia Masuku. Right, Cherry. Now we're about to watch the replay. Right, he gets up towards the 10-meter line. Let's see if we do go back to that replay. There it is. I think his knee just slightly touches the ground earlier, does Pitanari before then both the front rows go down. Could take that from Mio van Heerden now. Bongi Manambu wins the ball and grabs the ball back there. But messy at the moment. Sharks trying to just sort of... and they use it on the right-hand side. Werner Koch. Hands off Simone Gessi, but Pitanari is there to make the tackle. Hendrickson now going to James Fenter. Suku taking a while to the side. Then he decides to go himself. Does almost get through the tackle, but he's slightly isolated. Penalty for not rolling. Gets a bit harsh again, you know. Well, the Zebre players down, yeah, and they're going to take a shot at goal here, are the Sharks, which is a good decision, actually. At the end of the day, it's a playoff rugby. Right, let's see this over here. So, yeah, I don't think that's fair at all. I think that the man who makes the tackle there, Andres Zamenon, gets himself out the way quite quickly, to be honest, and is not impacting that ruck at all. I think it's very, very harsh. So Masuku's kicked well so far. We'll look to add to his tally of 4. And make it a 14-point margin. Just over 5 minutes remaining in the first half. Very scrappy game, as we kind of guessed when we started to see the conditions. Not really made for running rugby. On the left-hand side, though, from Simasuku. So, maybe of justice there, because I think it was a bit of a harsh penalty. And the kick comes in towards Apelele Fassi. Back of a man of the match performance last week. The URC. Then hence to go to Bongi Manami, popping up to Vincent Tuka. The tip over the top there from Masuku for Fassi. And it's Lakanya Am, actually. Lakanya Am has gathered. Lakanya Am still going himself, trying to free his arms. Quick ball there for corner roll. Corner roll. I tell you what, he had so much intent there. Nobody was going to stop him, and nobody did. Over he goes, corner roll. Look what it means to his teammates. What a try that is. All being conjured up by Sia Masuku. Little chip over the top. Great chase that from Lakanya. Quick recycle to corner roll, and I'm a big fan of this lad. And I think that's kind of why. Just the power. For me, one of the best up and coming tight head locks in the country. 21 years of age. Nice physicality. Bang. Lakanya though with a good carry. But Jaden Hendrickson, very, very aware. Quick ball there to corner roll. Corner roll just runs on the angle, puts his head down, skips the tackle. It's a pretty poor tackle attempt coming from Josh Kafer. Needs to do a lot better than that. And the Sharks, well, that's a perfect way to sort of hit back after an extended period of pressure. And that's what they've been so good. They've been clinical so far, the Sharks. Not necessarily had the most time in the Zebre 22, but when they have been there, they've gotten points when they've needed it and been very, very clinical. So in the Suku now, just missed one off the tee. This will be a bit more straightforward. Yeah, straight down the middle. That's much better from him. And he makes it 21 points to 3. 36-minute mark. Looking some air. There's corner roll after that run. While to get things going here is Tiff Eden. Can be underneath that. Then Hendrickson goes to the boot. Doesn't find touch though. Chip and chase here. That's a very opponent. It's a nice kick there. He's played well so far as the fullback. I think it's time he has Bongi Manami with the line out. Just over 2 minutes left on the clock. The short there, straight to Pepsi Boot, lays at the front of the line. All the way back to Sia Masuku. Masuku runs away from one, then goes to the boot, outside of his boot, and does find the clearance. Not maybe the best clearance. And a little bit of pressure there with Sia Masuku. John Plumtree watching on. Neil Powell in the office there as well. What a jerseys this is here from Zebre, by the way. We've got some digital zebras on there. Got a flamingo in there. Very, very busy jersey. Pretty cool, actually. I quite like it. Great steal that from the Sharks. And Makamazoma Pimpy swings it out to Masuku. Masuku's going to go to the boot. Oh, Tekers. The Tekers from Lorenzo Pani. Just chips the ball up to his hands. I'll kick a chase from him, and he knocks it back towards Zebre, but it falls into the arms of the Kanya arm. And not quite sure. There might be a penalty here for Kanya Am. Knock on there from Zebre. Double knock on. I think it's a bit harsh there's a knock on for Zebre. I think it was actually knocked backwards. Last 30 seconds of the half here. Let's see. You can see Len's opponent goes up. Oh, I don't see where the knock on comes. When it comes off his arm and then off his head and it goes backwards. Not sure where you've seen the knock on there, chaps. TMO's getting involved. You're talking about it should not be a shark scrum. It should definitely knock backwards there from Zebre. I can't understand this decision. The fact that they've even looked at it and then come back and still said it's a shark scrum is bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. Not entirely sure what game they're watching. Huta's gone though. So 21 points to 3 is where it'll likely end. I reckon Sharks will just kick it out and go into half time with that 18-point lead. Big scrum there, big scrum there, big scrum there. No penalty just yet. No penalty advantage. And looking to try and attack your Sharks. Upland Fassi going through. Hendrickson going to Masuku. Masuku The hands, Ethan Hooker there, going to Chituka. I don't know why. Penalty there for they were quickly taken yet by Werner Koch. Hendrickson goes to Chituka. To the hands of Roll. Backwards is the call. Kanya pass it back to Hendrickson. Suku looking for options. Stabs it through for himself. And Lorenzo Pani says, no, enough of this. Grabs him that ball, chips it out. Right, half-time score then. 21 points to 3 down at the Shark Tank. And Zebre are in the contest, but haven't been able to score the points to really sort of reflect that. So a lot to work to do. They'll have to try and score first in the second half if they are to mount any sort of comeback. But at the moment, Sharks very much in charge. We'll see you guys very shortly after the break. Don't go away. If you're new, please do smash the like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. See you in a bit.
Hello everyone and welcome to Forever Sports. As one of the leading channels in the world providing free coverage of all of your favourite sports, we are asking for your support. Everything that we create at Forever Sports is available for free and always will be. To help us continue delivering high quality content, as well as expanding our coverage, we are asking you to consider supporting the channel by becoming a channel member. As part of the Forever Sports Members Club, you will gain access to select perks, such as exclusive stickers and emojis to use during our watch-alongs and live streams. You will also gain early access to premium content, as well as have your name listed on the channel under channel members. We strive to deliver quality content that is unmatched by other channels, and are always looking to take things up another level. And our members give us the chance to do this. It is thanks to our members and other support that we get from our fans that we are able to deliver campaigns such as the France 2023 on the ground coverage. So if you would like to continue supporting the channel and the free coverage that it provides, be sure to check the link in the description to become a channel.
Right, and we're back for the second half of action from Durban. It is the Sharks 10 points to 3 against Zebre in this Challenge Cup round of 16 clash. And a really good first half in for Sharks. They just want to capitalize, try and score first, really, and put the game to bed. Will be the plan, really. And for Zebre, I suppose quite the opposite, you know. For them, it's just about getting it back into the game, trying to score first will be a big part of doing that. And I think Zebra's had moments. Both teams have had good moments. Zebra, I think I'd be actually interested to look at some of these stats here. I want to see the territory stat and the possession stats, because I think that Zebra have actually had good momentum throughout the game, but haven't been able to make it count. Sharks defense so far holding up really well. Whereas it's been the opposite for the Sharks, who, yeah, territory-wise, Zebra have actually had more territory. And possession have also had more possession, not by much, but Sharks, when they had the opportunity, have been very, very clinical. And a bit of a slip there from because all the Pimpy, the Sharks going down that left-hand side. I just back to Masuku. Masuku going to James Fenter. Try scores for Sharks. Vincent Chatuka going over Werner Koch as well as Corner Roll. No penalty advantage there, so they'll go back for the penalty. So Zebra discipline just letting them down at the moment. As I said, the message John Plancher would have been start well. You know, go out and get an early try. Sort of snuff out any sort of thoughts of a comeback here. And running more at the back here. Bongi Manambi controlling thing. Ethan Hooker, Lekanyam coming to add their weight. And this look like it's only going to end one way. There's the run. And Bongi Manambi comes off the back of it. The shorter are Sharks, but now goes to Reteko Vaditswe and Share. He's working hard, but he just pops it up. Almost looked like sort of play almost stopped there, really. Good and go once again from Ox. Now Bongi Manambi, top dog, as he's known. Ball back to Vincent Tuka. Caught on the ball. This is good defense there from Zebre. Suku dabbing behind. Not quite sure that was... well, I'll tell you what. BITDEFENDER's gone over. It looked initially like Ethan Hooker hadn't really picked up that was the move. But I think Fassi might have been the one who called it. He goes over and that's down. Sia Masuku with the try assist. Sharks, that's the perfect start to the second half. That should be the game, really. 23-point lead, kick to come.
Passes rather than trying to get in on one.
There's the extra two. They can see Masuku. And a man in form has BITDEFENDER. And 28 points to 3. You think that should be the game pretty much dead and buried here for the Sharks. By the way, concerning news that Sia Khaleesi went off in that Racing versus Toulouse game with a knee injury. So not good to see. Well, I think he walked off from the looks of it, from what I've read. So I don't think it doesn't look as serious as it could be, but not ideal at all. He's just actually come back from a hand injury. Usa goes to the butcher. Well taken by Lorenzo Pani. He's been one of the better players here for Zebre today. Now, Fasco. Oh, dear. That's a bit of a fumble there. Coming from Guido Volpi. And luckily for them, Sharks then being a bit too enthusiastic and conceding a penalty. Right, so change here for Zebre. The number 23 is on. That's Batista Staville. Onto the park. By the way, is a forward playing the 23 jersey. Often have these issues because of jersey size constraints. So it is a 6-2 split actually for Zebre. Now Fasco. Tiffy looking for options. Brings in Treller. Ball available for Fasco. Driven back here is Guido Volpi. And that's poor from Pani. Under a bit of pressure. But they have a penalty advantage, though, did Zebre, so they go back for it. Good momentum being built here from Zebre. Right, here we go. On the 5-meter line here are Zebre. They've gotten that so wrong. I'm not entirely sure what happened there. Player went up and Baldy just didn't feed the line out. Bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. So free kick here for the Sharks. That's so frustrating from a Zebre point of view. You know, they called for the scrummy, by the way. They want a penalty. But you've got yourself a penalty right on the 5-meter line, and then you just butcher the line out. Not even butcher the line. You don't even put the ball in. Bizarre. Big strike from the Sharks front row, and the penalty does come their way. It's come from the assistant, though, so it's on the loose edge side. Oxen Chair once again getting the better of his man. I mean, to have a World Cup winning front row at your disposal is quite a weapon, yeah, for Sharks. Now, once again, Masuku looking for that extra bit of distance. This time it does pay off. He does find touch on the 10-meter line, yeah, for the Sharks. Up on Hayden. James Fenton to go into Jaden Henderson. Henderson to Ethan Hooker in the midfield. Back on that from Tiff Eden. Now quick ball here. Masuku. Mapimpi. Wrapped up by the two Zebre centres. Touch up over the top from Jaden Hendricks. So that's good work. Great. It's a great take, though, from the replacement. Really under there. And now Tiff Eden comes away with it. Puts it to the boot. Sia Masuki points to the sky. And it's a bit far there. Pasco under no pressure. Goes to the boot himself. Right up against that touchline as well. But Pimpy now, he's going to run this himself. And they've ripped the ball in the tackle. It's good work there from Zebre. Oh, penalty there. I'm not convinced about that, actually. Once again, I think that's very, very harsh. Right, Simasuka now looked fine touch. Yeah, I think that's so marginal. I think that's harsh. I think he's saying on the ground as he's making the rip. I mean, split second there. I don't think there was any chance he would have been able to have stopped doing it. And I think he timed quite well, actually. Anyway, Sharks starts out at 22. Take that from Emil van Heerden. 11 wideouts, one so far from the Sharks. And Ethan Hooker's left that behind. That's going to go forward. It'll be a scrum for Zebre. No, the ball is available for Zebre, so they'll continue to play. The high tackle there. Eventually, Fusco with the clearance. Won't find touch. Great kick, though. Apple Fast to go all the way back. Another good kick from Apple Fast. All the way back goes Lorenzo Pani inside his own 22. Another very good kick here from Lorenzo Pani. Just always on the back foot. You can just sense the frustration there from him. Taking back as the call. Looks like it did touch the hands of Baptiste Ville. Tries were scored by Werner Koch, Vincent Stuka, and Corne Roll. Not in that order. Vincent Stuka was actually the first try scorer, then Werner Koch, and then Corne Roll just before half time. In this half, he's got a try from Apelele Fassi. Little chip in behind. We'll grab it in behind from Sia Masuki with Fassi finishing it. Right, Hendrickson goes to Hooker. Hooker goes short to Pesi Buthelezi. Sharks back on the front foot inside the 22, down the left-hand side. Bongi Manambi shifting his body weight to the right and missing the defender. Now Vincent Tuka loses the ball in the contact, and there's a knock on there. Corne Roll, by the way, has got a split eye. He's going to have to get some attention on that. I think he's also got a bit of a blood nose as well. Looks like he's been in the wars here as Corne Roll. But just take a bit of time here. Bit of running repairs, I think, for one of the Zebre props. against Luca Pigi, by the way. That's getting ready to come on. Good player. Pigi, the Italian legend, really. Years old, a veteran of the game, 48 caps for Italy. Been around the block. Formerly at Benetton for many seasons, and now made the move to Parma. Watching all the tries back here. Kwena looks like he's been cleaned up a little bit, and I think there have been some no subs just yet. They're preparing 2 subs. It looks like Luca B is going to come on, as well as Leonard Kremov. Whilst 2 props and Grant Williams are being readied for the Sharks. Right, it's finally ready for the scrum. Yeah, it is Zebre feed. Initially, it was going to reset. Then a call came from the touch judge to say penalty on the Oxen chair side once again. And they have made the sub there. I think that's Ian Nikolai who's come onto the park here for Zebre. Try and sort the scrummaging issues, but so far not having much success with that. Puts the Sharks on the 5-meter line. Yeah, there is going to be some repairs for Ian Nikolai. He's not going to be able to continue here, so I think this will be Pitanari back on the park. Hobbling off here is Nikolai. Not going to be a very big shift being... he only had a 10-minute reprieve there, did Jean Pitanari. They have to put in a 70-minute performance now. Here comes some more subs here. So emptying the bench are Zebre. That's Leovani Licata, Leonard Kremov, Thomas Dominguez, Luca Bigi on. I don't know if they're putting on Luca Rizzolo either. But they've emptied the bench of Zebre. Last bit of roll of the dice, really. 25 points that they have to try and make up. Assuming the Sharks don't score here. Penalty advantage here for side entry. Interesting wants to use it with the penalty advantage. Bongi Manami goes himself. Lazy is over. Well, that should be it for the Sharks there. Lazy goes over. That's a 30-point margin now, and yeah, this could threaten to be. This could be a big score now. Right, Sam Masuku's 4 from 5. Just missed the penalty. Hasn't missed any of the conversions just yet. Make this 5 from 6. Missed that actually as Masuku. Shouldn't be missing that really. You can see a bit of frustration in his face. He has left 5 points out there. Right, that's a good restart though from Zebre. They're 1 possession back. So looking to try to hit back here. Dominguez trying to up the tempo. Tiff Eden. Running the hands there. Ball over the top to Simone Gessi, who we've barely seen. In fact, this might be the first time he's touched the ball, actually. Somebody so exciting with ball in hand is a bit of a crime. That's the problem, though, when you've got a pack that's going backwards and not building any momentum. A penalty there from Zebre. 21.5 minutes left in the game there, so lots of time here, but probably not enough time, really. They'd have to score quite quickly now with Zebre, so really, literally 3 quick tries, and even then they'd be quite far behind the game. Right, Bongi Manami does make way, yes. So I think the Sharks will start to protect a few players. Hamno Jakobs is on for Vincent Koch. Bongi Manami off, so Kieran van Vuuren comes in the park. And Instituto will move on as well. So the 3 Springbok props will go and have a bit of a breather and have the last 3 minutes off. Grant Williams, by the way, onto the park as well. 3 Springbok World Cup winners off, 1 on. Shows you the depth the Sharks have got. Luca Bijou, though, coming off the back of it, puts his head down. Good work there from him, and Verona Cox going to win a penalty there. Great run by Luca Bijou with 0 support. 0 support. Right, the Kanya now off the park, and that will see the introduction of Francois Fenter. So him and Ethan Hooker will see over the rest of the game. Interesting to see who goes to inside, who goes to outside center. Initially, it looks like Ethan Hooker's got to outside center. Not taking any chances here is John Plumtree, and I reckon we actually might see Masuku leave the park quite soon as well. Goes to the boot there. Does Apelida Fassi. Neil van Heerden, by the way, has also made way. Trying to see who's come on for him. I'd imagine it's Cabran Clubby. There he is, yeah. Quite a few changes now for the Sharks. And why not with 20 minutes to go and a 30-point lead? Worked this year. Francois Fenter getting his first carry of the day. Kabiji now penalized for being off his feet. So see Masuku will be able to kick them towards the corner. Right, and there we go. Vince took it off and Lapis Lapiskaki on. So, yeah, Plumtree protecting all his weapons, really. They will host. I'm trying to work out exactly who it'll be next weekend for the quarterfinal. And they will host to Edinburgh next week in the quarterfinal there. Edinburgh, who beat Bana yesterday. 33 points to 15, so a pretty decent victory that. So it's a pretty tough fixture next week. Edinburgh have just been beaten by the Sharks down in Durban, so yeah, another trip back there for them. Sharks are feeling confident of that. Now Sharks on the 5 meter line here. Peswood lazy wrapped up here, looking to try and score their 6th try of the afternoon. I love a Skakny. Good carry from him. Grant Williams looking for a quick ball here. Goes to Nstuka. He's lost the ball in contact. No knock on anything. Peswood lazy, pick up and go. I think that should be the full bench now on for the Sharks. Currie Bosch remains on it, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see him quite quickly. Shortly rather. One of the Zebre players down and getting treatment outside behind the line there. Grant Williams going to fence up, wrap around from Masuku, through their hands to Mapimpi. Mapimpi going to be just short, trying to top the ball. Grant Williams got himself and the forced Ethan Hooker. Does he have grounding? He does indeed. Ethan Hooker, the youngster. Good work there from Grant Williams and celebrations. The big man is Ethan Hooker. Tall inside centre, currently now playing an outside centre. I think that should be his first try in the competition. I don't think he's actually played a Challenge Cup match this season. So yeah, this was pass here from Grant Williams. I think that's pretty flat, and then the ball pops back up into the hands of Ethan Hooker, and then he goes down. I think his try will stand. Pick that and good to take from Cabran Krobler from the restart. 40 minutes left on the clock here. Lapis Skakny now getting in the action. As mentioned, the Sharks pretty much a full bench on, just no Currie Bosch. And for Zebre, I think unless Rizzoli's come on, then that's the only player that's on the bench left for them. That looks like a Currie Bosch in the park, by the way, and I think it's Apple Fassi who might have made way for him. And that's a pretty dreadful pass coming from I think Kabiji, no. Carney, who's been so good and just struggling in the second half. And you can just see so much pressure on him. He's really not been able to get any sort of good go forward ball, any sort of space for it to operate. A frustrating afternoon for the 21-year-old. Exciting career ahead, though. Former Sevens player. Made his Italian debut last year. And he's got a very, very, very exciting career ahead of him as the youngster. And there goes the man mentioned as Luca Rizzoli comes onto the park in place of Daniel Fischetti. Goes to the boot shirt, does Dominguez. particularly far there, and it's actually fallen to Krobler. Casey Buthelezi caught in the ball, and no advantage there, so penalty for the Sharks. And it's pretty much as straightforward as kind of predicted. I always thought this was going to be a game that always going to have too much was Stokes for Zebras, especially at home. The pack, as kind of expected, dominating scrum very much. A good weapon for the Sharks there. Another opportunity for Sharks. They got 6 tries so far. We're going to make it 7. It's a good take there from the corner roll. Akazuma Pimpy getting in on the action. Ron Williams popping it up. Ron Williams once again goes to Karan Krobler down the left-hand side there. And lost forward by the Sharks, but a penalty advantage for them. The players receiving a bit of treatment there. I think it's on his nose. They're saying, has there been a few coaching changes at the Sharks recently? No, not really, actually. I don't think there's been any sort of changes since John Plumtree's come in. I think they're just starting to get right a little bit more. Quite a coaching staff when you think of Neil Powell, director of rugby. Sia Masuka, by the way, going down the left-hand side there. Beating one, but losing the ball in contact. So knock-on advantage for Zebre. Look at the pace they're being shown by the replacement, Leonard Kremov. Good hands this, and going to the boot there with Franco Smith Jr., but no advantage. Go back for the penalty. Yeah, John Plumtree, head coach, Neil Powell, director of rugby. You then got Joe Mangala as the defense coach. Been around the blockers, Joe Mangala. David Williams, the attacking coach. Warren Whiteley, forwards coach. You got Philip Lemmer, who's the also forwards coach. Set piece really coach there as well. Warren Whiteley, I think, sort of more focusing on the lineouts. Now, what Bulls have got in their coaching staff, and something that I think is very, very cool, is a skills coach. And I think that for me is something that's really going to be quite important moving forward. And I think it's Kennedy Timber, or no, sorry, it's Piwa and Lomo who's involved there at the Bulls. And literally, that's what he does. He's a skills coach, basically. Works on sort of the soft skills, the handling, for example, the offloading. Kennedy Timber, I think, as well, also involved in the sort of skills coaching there as well. But I think it's such an important part of the game. We're talking about the modern game and the fact that it's as physical as it is, as forward dominated as it is, you still have to have the soft skills, and you're sort of seeing how special players like a Steyn, you can offload the tackle, for example, and stuff like that, becoming such a crucial part of the game that skills coach, I think, will be involved more and more, just to be able, you can create that half offload, that 50-50 pass, and just create so many more opportunities. Into the last 10 minutes we go. Start the line out on the 22. Franz Van popping up short. Pesci Buthelezi almost making it through. 10 meters out here. Grant wins quick ball going to Siamasuku to Ethan Hooker. Ethan Hooker's got Curran Bosch. Curran Bosch step on the inside. And Curran Bosch will go over for the 7th try for the Sharks. Playing at fullback is Curran Bosch. He's going to struggle to get the number 10 back jersey from Siamasuku. And you've got Jordan Henderson, Sharks bound as well next season. It's just the pace of play here. Good physicality there. Festival lazy. Nice carry from him. And then quick boy here, running the hands. Masuku destroying a couple of defenders. Ethan Hooker getting past one. The chicken wing pass, step inside from Curran Bosch. All in all, pretty good rugby that from the Sharks. Having a look at something here. Forward passes the call. No try. It'll be chalked off. So Curran Bosch, unfortunately, will not have a try to his name. Ethan Hooker's pass judged to have moved forward. So all the way back to the 22. They go for a scrum for Zebre. 7 minutes, or just under 7 minutes left on the clock. And a long day in the office. Good news for the Sharks that they'll be able to go back and rest and not have to travel. Edinburgh will be boarding a flight, I'd imagine tomorrow, if not Monday, down to Durban. And then a penalty there coming to penalty, a free kick. I think it's actually a free kick here for Zebre. Defeated. Sends it down the park. Curran Bosch, yeah, so the Sharks are overextending. They're being a bit too excited to try the scrum. Curran Bosch, it's a really good step there, Curran Bosch. And he wants to go all the way. He is going to go all the way. Curran Bosch, well, he's just literally had a try chalked off. And he decided, no, actually, I will get a try. He's done it all himself this time. That's spectacular from him. I always wonder whether fullback is not where he's more suited. He's got a great turn of pace, this Curran Bosch. Done a lot of pressure recently, Curran Bosch, and that'll give him a lot of confidence. There is try number 7. So much pace there. He's got no chance there. As soon as he turns him, he's done.
Early stages of the second.
Let's try to kick that from Curran Bosch. He's taking over the kicking duties. He converts his own try to make it 47 points to 3. Step over here. Bang, little shimmy. Straight through a couple of forwards and then bang, turns Tiff Eden. And once he's turned Tiff Eden, he's got no chance. Hard legs there, Tiff Eden. Oh, bit of a handling area there for Tifeden all the way back. Their advantage though did Zebre. They'll go back for the penalty. Had a really good start to the season, Zebre. Just faded off a bit. I think they're making, to be fair, I think they're making them this far in the competition would have been a step up from what they probably would have expected to do. Yeah, you only had to beat one team in it to progress, but they've had a better season so far than last season, but need to continue developing. I think that's the frustration, is that my goodness, what a goal that is. You've got the United game on the sideline. Bruno Fernandes just scored from almost in the halfway line. Oh. Back to the rugby. Sorry, I have to keep an eye on my team over there. And a break and play here. And Kwena Roll's being stretched out. A bit of cramp there for the young lock. Right, just over 2 minutes left on the clock, yeah. And they're searching for a consolation try. Sharks, well, they're technically searching for an 8th try, I suppose. Michael Smith there, getting a rare carry. He hasn't had a lot of opportunity as the centre. Left-hand side go. Zebre, good hand. Not too many options for Tifeden. Ethan Hooker coming through and making the tackle on Troller. Ball spews out the side as well. And the turnover. And Tukun comes away with it on the halfway line here. No scrum off here for Sharks. Ethan Hooker will come and fill in. Gives it away to Kwena Roll, who goes to Kieran van Vuren. Clock ticks by. Bosch goes to Francois Venter. Now another turnover ball here. Zebre now coming away with it. Knock on advantage for them into the last minute of the game. And we're going to stop there because there is an injury. Oh, a little chip and chase from the prop. Well, I think this is Luca Bigi in a lot of pain here. I think it might be a dislocation. Timasuku has been named man of the match here. Yeah, looking back at Timasuku's involvement in the game, and he just brings so many players into the game, you know. 2 try assists for him. Just, you know, you always got your second guessing as to what he's going to do. And a lot of medics on here. I think Luca BG is it's not is it BG? Yeah, I think it is BG. I think it was a dislocated shoulder from the looks. No, not the worst way to finish the weekend. Yeah, a couple of Sharks fans in there watching their team go into a quarterfinal. And there he goes. Yeah, definitely has a shoulder injury there. Training for the veteran. So resuming the scrum, yeah, for Zebre. Back on the park goes Gianpietro Ribaldi for the last literally 20 seconds of the game here. Last opportunity here for Zebre to score some points. Grant Williams, but I'm trying to put a pressure on them, but they did manage to get the offload away. Tiff Eden, bit of a wrap around there. Lorenzo Pani goes onto the boot there for someone to chase. It's looking pretty good as well. Is it going to be a late try? No, it's not. Ethan Hooker goes back and does very, very well. And the Sharks just be able to chip this out. That should be the game. Good work there. Right, final score down in Durban. 47 points to 3. Sharks progress. And yeah, I never really had to get out second gear. But good game from them. Good momentum. They'll move into the quarterfinals. A much stiffer task lies await in Edinburgh before, if they do make a semi-final, they have to go overseas for that. But thank you very much for joining me across the weekend. It's been a lot of fun, a lot of rugby on there. We had sevens, we had Champions Cup, Challenge Cup, and Toulouse beating Racing. So they continue to go on, and probably the tournament favourites for me. But yeah, people, thank you very much. Please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. And if you are new, welcome to the channel, and we'll see you guys all next time. My name is Steve. Thank you very much.